Hey everybody, it's Thursday. It's SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. Guys, on this episode, we are going to go back to the BMO Stadium. We're going to take a look at the Terence Crawford card. What an amazing night of boxing that was. Also, we have Vergil Ortiz going after a title this weekend against Bohachuck. It's going to be a great fight this Saturday. Guys, all this, so much more. The Shakur Stevenson, Lomo interaction on this weekend. We'll touch on that as well. So strap in and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. We are coming off probably one of the best cards that we've seen this year. Sorry, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. I am your host, Bobby Sampson. Joined as always, my man with the master plan, Mr. Chance Michaels. Happy Thursday, Friday Eve. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Can't complain, man. We're here. It's Thursday. The weekend is fast approaching. You can only appreciate the weekend if you work hard. Is that true?
100% true. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Right.
Or whatever days off you have. Some people work weekends, have the days off during the week. Whatever your couple of days off are, you appreciate them more when you work. Absolutely.
Right. Otherwise, it's always like for those who don't have any kind of work or anything like that, it's like every day is like Sunday.
Yep.
Every day's a weekend. I don't know how you can live like that. I don't get it.
It's tough.
I don't know if it's tough, man. I think they figured it out how to dupe the system.
Some have, yeah.
Right. All right, brother, man. We came off a great card this weekend, man. I mean, very, very good. Like, I mean, even on paper, it translated really well. I have no issues with it at all. Why don't we get right into the main event of this card and break it down a little bit, man. So we had Mr. Bud Crawford defend or going after his first title at 154. Your thoughts on the fight overall, man?
It was a good fight. Really good fight. Had all the action. It was a close fight. I mean, if Madronov would have won the last couple rounds, he probably would have won the fight. I mean, I had it 7-5 for Crawford, but these are some really, really close rounds. I mean, moving up in weight, definitely Crawford is feeling those punches a little more than he did at 147. First fight at 154, he looked good. He, maybe age is getting him a little bit. He still won the fight. Don't get me wrong. Madronov was a game fighter. I mean, he came hard. Good technique, good footwork. He just kept coming at him. And yeah, Crawford won the fight. Some people thought Madronov won. I thought Crawford had it 7-5, but he gave him all he could handle. And I guess Crawford's getting ready to fight Canelo. Canelo is saying that he might not fight Crawford now. I don't know what's going to happen, but it was a great fight, great main event. And Madronov was so close. He got his first loss, but Bud turned it on at the end there. He knew he was behind, and he turned it up to win those key rounds. Some guys, they're so cocky, they think they're ahead, and they just take those last couple rounds off and lose the fight. Bud was smart, turned it up, won the fight. Great fight.
Well, I mean, for the first 6 rounds, he was following him, right? I think if anything he did, Madronov did, is he gave everyone a blueprint on how to beat this guy now. You know what I mean? Like you can't stand still. You got to keep moving. You got to be a younger guy too. I think that age has to come into it as well. Yes, I think ring rust also played a role in all of this as well. Like the move up in weight, just being out of the ring for as long as he has. Like I'm not making excuses for Crawford. I mean, yes, he won. For those first 6 rounds, like it's usually by the third or fourth round, he figures you out, right? I mean, Crawford's always been known to be a slow starter generally, as we already know. So, I mean, he usually figures everyone out by the fourth round, but he couldn't figure this guy out. He was following him.
Madronov is tricky.
Right? He was very tricky because of that foot movement, that speed and everything. Like he just kept going and going. He wasn't giving Crawford anything to kind of punch at or to set up, right? And then he finally kind of started to figure him out a little bit, slowly slowed him down. But I mean, the one thing I did take away when he did land that, that solid shot in the 8th, why did he just clinch with him after? Like I don't understand what happened there.
Not sure what he was thinking.
9th and 10th round, I thought he had the edge, Madronov, but I think, like you said, I mean, Crawford came on in that last 2 rounds, which gave him the fight.
Absolutely.
I mean, Canelo says that Madronov won. I mean, that's what he's saying, right?
I don't agree with Canelo, but I mean, you could, yeah.
But a lot of people feel that, like you were saying, right? Like, Canelo in this fight against Crawford doesn't look as good anymore. And I told you, I thought, you know what? It still can be a good fight because you got to figure Madronov doesn't move like Canelo or Canelo doesn't move like him. right? He's
Mhm.
pretty flat-footed. So you're going to get a pretty solid, good fight between these two guys based on styles, right? I mean, styles make
The only
fights.
thing is Canelo hits so hard though. So
But
if
that's
they
the
fight,
thing.
I got Canelo winning that fight.
No, no, and I do
But who
too, right?
knows?
But I mean, I still see it being as a potentially good fight
Oh yeah, that'd
because
be great.
Canelo is at the level of a Terence Crawford in terms of speed and footwork and whatnot. I mean, those aren't his forte. They've never been his forte. Canelo's fortes, right? So I mean, you can,
Canelo is just trying to downplay Crawford so he gets less money for the fight. Canelo will get more of a purse. Well, you didn't look that good. I thought you lost. You know, that kind of weakens Crawford at the negotiating table. Because Crawford wants this fight. Everybody wants to fight Canelo because you're going to get paid the most. So Crawford wants this fight more than Canelo. Crawford needs this fight more than Canelo. So I think by Canelo saying that, kind of, you might get a couple. He'll take a couple less million to make that fight now because he didn't look as good as we all thought you would. But
well,
Madronov
okay.
was just a great opponent, right? He's
No, no,
tricky.
he's not, and I don't see the same kind of fight playing out there with Canelo and Crawford. The Sheik has already said he's made an offer to Canelo for that
Mm.
fight to happen this year, right? If Canelo doesn't take it, then he's, according to the Sheik, he'd be very stupid not to
Sheik
take
is 100% right. Very stupid.
it, right? I mean, and like I've listened to some interviews with Canelo after the fact because they're doing their presser tour right now. So he's been around doing spots at different radio stations and stuff. And in terms of David Benavidez and whatnot, he says, well, it's more of a risk for me because this guy's going to come in who's going to be 30-40 pounds heavier, blah blah blah. So he wants to make sure he has the right money. And I get it. Canelo's at the stage of his life. He loses to a Benavidez or if he loses to a Crawford, he's going to lose a lot of steam. So he wants to make sure the money's right, but he can't be stupid about it either.
Yeah, he knows how to negotiate. He's taken out of the Mayweather playbook. You talk down your opponents. Oh, you look that good. You get a couple less money. You get a couple more in your pocket. He'll fight Crawford because I think he's realized, hey, I can beat this guy.
Yeah. No, 100%. All right, let's move on. The co-main event here. Let's try to get a couple of these fights in here for this round if we can. Jose Venezuela versus Isaac Cruz. 140 title up on the line here, man. Let's get into it. Isaac came out really strong in the first two rounds, thinking I think that was his goal. He figured he could try to finish this off in 2 to 3 rounds with his power and everything. Venezuela weathered the storm really well, and he kind of took over after that, in my opinion, man. He just showed, like you need to have a jab in boxing. You can't just stand there and take shots the way he was after that. Your thoughts?
Venezuela had a great style. He had him figured out. He had a great coaching. He had a great training camp. He knew what Isaac was going to do. Come forward. Like he is a pit bull for a reason. Pit bulls, they don't run from you. They come at you. He was waiting for that. He was able to counter him. And I don't know. He just was a better fighter that night. And I guess Isaac thought he's going to walk in there, back him down, beat him down. Ref will stop it. The crowd was disappointed. Isaac was definitely the crowd favorite there. But Venezuela is a great training camp, great game plan. Stuck to the game plan. He followed through with the plan and he won. And it was an upset because Isaac was the favorite. I thought he was going to win too.
Yeah.
And Venezuela proved most people wrong.
Well, I think, and the way he rushed him in the beginning, I think Isaac realized he needed to do this fast, get it done.
And I like Isaac's style. Like you got to give the guy credit. He's coming out there. He's not going to Floyd Mayweather and do all this running and pillow padding you and stuff. He come right at you. Let's go. I love that about him.
I love that too.
But he's exciting.
I love that too, but he needs to work on that jab. That's all I want to say for him.
Yeah, I don't think you can teach an old dog.
No, you can't. You can't. But he needs to create a better defense because I mean, in the 6th round, it was close up until the 6th round until Venezuela seemed to kind of knock him with that one shot there. With that,
he felt that.
With that right uppercut to the chin. I mean, that was it. Right after that, it was pretty much.
But I don't think Pitbull's stock really lost too much. He lost the fight, but he didn't get knocked out. He didn't get badly hurt. He has an exciting style. So he'll get another big fight again because people want to watch him fight. Because one thing with that guy, it's going to be exciting when lose or draw. So he didn't really get hurt too much in this fight, like as far as his next fight goes in the purse.
No. And I mean, a lot of people, Pitbull was honorable at the end as well. Like he realized, like I know it sucks. I mean, I think the worst is to win the title and to lose it on your first offense, right? That's the hardest one. I mean, would you still consider him a champion the years later? Or because for me personally, I look at a guy who defends the title after winning it that solidifies you as a champion, in my opinion.
I guess
Winning the
once you win, you're
title,
automatically the champion. I mean, they'll let us say, well, he didn't have a successful title defense, but he was the champ. It's too bad how he lost. I'm a big fan of the guy because, like I
so
said,
am
I
I.
like action fighters.
But as a general question, would you say a champion is solidified after that first defense? Not winning the title, but actually defending it once.
No,
For
I
me,
say you're solidified once you win the title. You just say
really,
that
eh?
he didn't have a successful title defense, but once you get that belt, they raise your hand. You are the champ.
Yeah,
Solidified.
because I will never like. I mean, okay, I get it. Buster Douglas was world champion, but he lost it on his first defense, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I get who he beat and everything, but for me, I just feel like a champion, in my opinion, even in WWE or whatever else, like even though if it's staged or not, a champion to me, you solidify yourself as a champion if you win that title and defend it at least once. After that,
Well,
you
you
can
solidify yourself as like maybe you could say a true champion, but when
exactly.
you win the belt, you are a champ.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I know
yeah.
what
I
you mean.
get that. I get that. I get that. All right, brother man. Let's get into the next round. We got two heavyweight clashes here that we'll cover in this round here. Andy Ruiz going up against Big Baby Miller. Um, let's get into it, man. So both big babies were fighting on this card. I'm surprised, I like to see the babies go at it now, sort of a deal. But let's get into the Ruiz fight here, man. I think this was robbery. I think Miller won the fight. Miller came in looking really good. He lost a lot of weight he took this seriously. Andy's lost a lot of weight as well, but I mean, he just looks sluggish, like I was saying before. I don't agree with the scorecards at all. I think Miller did more of the work overall. Um, but would you agree with 114, 114, and 116, or what was it at the end? Um, would you agree with those cards? 116, 112, Miller, and 114, 114 is a draw?
No, I don't agree with the cards, but there's so much to unpack them that I could probably talk for 5 minutes on this. Number one, big baby Bill Miller is a PED cheat. He's been caught like a few times. He
Yeah.
shouldn't be fighting. He should not be fighting. He's disgraced the sport so many times. It wasn't like the Canelo, the taint and meat stuff. This guy's been doing 3 or 4 different substances every time he gets caught.
Yeah.
So the guy's a disgrace. Let's just call it like it is. Did he win the fight? He did win the fight, but he's cheated the system. He's lucky he's even fighting. He got a draw. He won. We all know he won. The guys shouldn't even be allowed to fight in this sport. When you're putting that much drugs in your system to hit harder, to train harder, and you keep doing it, get caught one time, say sorry, you stop. You kept doing it. He shouldn't be fighting. Second
Yeah.
of all, Ruiz doesn't take the sport seriously. He
Yeah.
wants to be the man. He wants to be the guy. He doesn't train right. He looks sluggish. He lost a bit of weight, but you were a former champion. You don't take pride in your craft. You come out looking like that. Ruiz is lucky. I think the judges held that. You're not supposed to. They held all that drugs and stuff that Baby Miller does against him to kind of give him the draw when we should have got the fight.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm not saying that's right, but it almost serves Big Baby Miller right. He got screwed by the sport that you've been screwing people around. That's how I see it. But he
well,
didn't
I
win the
mean,
fight.
I agree with you completely. I see it 100%. I mean, but where does Ruiz go from here? Yeah, I mean, from that perspective, like, what do you do with the guy? Like, I mean, I
Let
don't.
him fight Derek Chisora or somebody like that, or Joey Joyce. His career is pretty much
Well, he has to. Like, I don't see him as a title contender. I don't
no,
see Miller as a title contender either, though, right? So, I
no.
mean, I mean, the fight that we're going to go into after here, this is the exciting one. This was probably the fight of the night, in my opinion. I wanted to get it into this round, but I think we have to give that a round on its own, man, because this kid's I mean, Bacall. I mean, what can you say about him, right? But back to Ruiz very quickly. Like, where does he go? Like he's like Deontay
He
Wilder.
floats around mid. He just floats around mid level. Has a couple more fights. He's made a lot of money. He's well off.
Like,
If I
if
was
he,
him, I would. His trainers should consider him retiring. He's just going to get hurt.
in
You
my
don't take it
opinion, if
serious.
you're a former, undisputed, unified champion, you lose the titles, you fight your ass off. You have 2-3 fights a year. Like, this guy's fighting once every 3 years. Of course he doesn't, like he doesn't make me invested in him in any way.
Totally agree. Some guys, when they make that big money, they lose that edge, you lose that hunger. You fight to get out of the poverty, and then once you make that money, you start losing that edge, and that's probably maybe what happened here.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, ready?
Yep.
Fight of the night. Here we go, man. Jared Anderson versus Martin Bacoli. Man, no one saw. Well, I mean, some people saw it coming. I think a lot, like I said to you,
Not like this though. Holy
well,
cow!
no, but a lot of the critics in the UK, like the analysts out of that side, were all calling Bacall has a good chance here, right? Here in North America, nobody didn't want to hear any of it. Jared Anderson looked pedestrian. He really did. He got knocked down 3 times. I was shocked by the first one. I didn't expect it to happen that way. But the way he destroyed him in the fifth, like this guy had nothing at all. It set back Jared Anderson years, in my opinion, in terms of where he stands right now in the world of boxing. And this has elevated Bacall to a new height as well. I was watching an interview with him, Bacall, this morning before we came on, and he said that, yeah, you know what? He's knocked out Dubois and Usyk in sparring. Unfortunately, there's no video of it because you're
Oh, he
not
claimed. We have to hear them verify that.
right. But he's saying, but up until this point, no one's come out and said different, right? No one from Dubois' side, no one from Usyk's side. So until that happens,
Possibly.
like, but sparring is sparring. But this Bacall showed something, man. Like he's not the most physical specimen, but the man has power, and he just took care
Yeah,
of this
I
guy.
don't know if it's Bacall is so great as some of these UK guys are saying. He did look good. He won the fight. Or if Anderson is, we've just overinflated this guy. Here's the thing: in America, North America, we are starving for an American heavyweight champion. All the champions are, European guys: Fury, Usyk, all these Joshua, all these guys. We want a new Mike Tyson out here. So we pumped up. I'm guilty of it too. We pumped up Jared Anderson. 17-0. He's big. He's young. He's strong. He's a top ranked guy. He just keeps winning. Excellent. His excellency got caught up in the same hype. We want an American heavyweight champion. Let's pump this guy up. So what does his excellency do? He recommends you train with one of the best trainers, Sugar Hill Stewart. Now, some of the critics are saying it's Sugar Hill's fault. He didn't have the right game plan. He didn't have him prepared. You can't blame Sugar Hill totally. He takes a little bit of the blame because your fighter got knocked out. I don't think he had a good game plan at all. I mean, Bacalli's just a better boxer. Let's get that out of the way. But the game plan wasn't very good. You got a young guy who's 17-0. In your first fight with him, he gets beat pillar to post. That doesn't look good on Sugar Hill. Sugar Hill's an amazing trainer. Anderson was just like we said before. Bob was just kind of padding his record. I see it all the time in the boxing. Pad the record. He finally fought somebody who's, above average fighter, and he beat the crap out of him. And Anderson needs to go back. He's still young, so he can bounce back. But he needs to get rid of Sugar Hill Stewart because they don't work well together, as we found out. And he needs to find whatever he needs to find and keep fighting because he is young.
Well, that was their first fight together too, though, right?
It's their first fight. His Excellency recommended him. I don't think His Excellency should be recommending anybody for trainer. You are a promoter. You shouldn't be getting involved. He's not like a promoter like a Bob Arum. He's kind of like overseeing all these fights. You shouldn't be recommending you train Sugar Hill Stewart because you want to be the next American champ. Stay out of that. That was a bad recommendation. Now, even with his original trainer, he still would have lost. But might have had a better game plan. Might have lasted a little bit longer. But hats off to Martin McCauley. Amazing performance of the night, and everybody counted you out because you're overweight, and you kicked butt, man. Good for you. You looked awesome.
No,
he'll get a good fight now. He'll get a good fight.
He should, man. He should.
He deserves it.
He's earned it. He's deserved it. And he was like, and hey, keep in mind, this guy came from England over here to fight.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you add that pressure as well, right? I mean, he finally left the UK and whatnot, and he came out this way. So I mean, good on him.
Yeah.
He exposed Jared. I mean, was Jared that bad or was he that good? I guess that's the question that people are going to have.
Bit of both.
But I think it was a little bit of both. And do you think he underestimated him? I don't think so.
No, he didn't understand. He just lost to a better, stronger fighter.
Exactly, right? But I'm just trying to put that out so people, just see it for what it is, right? I mean, he didn't look that great in his 2 last fights either, per se. He got the victory, but it's kind of one of those things that you're hanging
barely.
Eventually the branch is going to break. And that's what we got here. All right, brother man, let's get into the next round here. David Morrell moving up to 175. I don't know why he would do this, going up against, and here we go, Rajovic Kazalak. That's
Kaliziak.
Kaliziak. Thank you, brother. Kaliziak. The scorecards were not as close as this fight was, in my opinion. Morrell ended up winning this thing 118-10, 117-11, 117-11. I disagree with those. Your thoughts?
He won the fight, but it wasn't that far of a gap.
No, that's what
he's he's a good fighter. He's from that Cuban team, like I talked about last show. They're tough guys. Did we overhype Morrell? Possibly. This is a guy he should have finished. He want to fight, he wants to fight Benavidez. He wants to fight Bivol and Beterbiev. You got to do better than that if you want to get those guys' attention. This was a layup for you. You should have won this fight more handily than you did. You did win. Maybe this weight class was too heavy for him. I don't know. He looked all right, but he didn't look great. You didn't like, oh my God, this guy's going to beat Canelo. This guy's going to beat Benavidez. It's going to be Bivol. When you watch that fight, you think all those guys he just named will beat him, and they probably will, unless he changes his style or whatever it was. I don't know. The judges had the scorecards wrong. He didn't win, but I had like 116, 113, something more along those lines.
Well, you know what? I mean, okay, he hurt him in the third round, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Hot Rod came back and he looked really good in the following rounds after that. He held his own. And then David, the Morrell had his moments again later on into that fight. Yeah, I have no problem with Morrell winning, but to piggyback off what you said, this could be said about David as well. Both these guys look like heavyweights at super middleweight.
Yeah.
Right? They move up to the next weight class and they don't look pedestrian, but they don't
look amazing like they did before. No.
Exactly, right? And that's the case with both these guys. I can understand David moving up because he's kind of done everything he needed to do at 168 outside of Canelo. Like, what more can he do at 168? There's not much there for him, right? So the move up makes sense. If you're not going to get that fight, don't hold your career up. You got to move up, right? But, stop jawing then. Don't keep talking about Canelo because that fight's not going to happen now, right?
Squeeze us in there while we're talking about the Cuban guys. Andy Cruz, I was telling everybody about, he won the fight against Moran there. He looked good. I mean, he's only 4-0, so he's got a lot of room to improve. But this guy's going to be a future star.
If he's managed properly and he's handled the way he's being handled right now, I mean, this guy is God-given talent. He looks amazing. At 4-0, he looks like he could be at 20-0 if he didn't know what his record was, right?
Yeah.
I have nothing with that. I think he needs to be managed right. And if they continue doing that with him properly, then we should, see
he'll be
an emerging superstar.
Next a new way kind of guy like that. He'll maybe not quite as good as those guys, but he's gonna be in that realm. He's that good.
Well, I mean, eventually, time and experience, he could end up being one of those guys. Who knows, right? I mean, the passes are always being torched and passed along. So that's about it. All right, brother man, I tell you what, let's get into the next round here. We have a fight coming up this weekend. It's fairly a quiet night on the night of boxing here, but we do have, bear with me here. We do have one fight that we should probably be talking about, and that is Vergil Ortiz Jr. going up against Vergil Bohachuck for the Sergey Bohachuck for Bohachuck's WC interim junior middleweight title. Your thoughts on this fight and how it's going to play out?
Well, I wish I would have delayed my Vegas trip by a week because it's at the Mandalay Bay, which I love Mandalay Bay. Best pool, one of the best pools in the world at a hotel. It's amazing. 100 acres. Real sand, waterfall, amazing pool. Mandalay Bay is one of the best hotels in the world. It's amazing.
Were you there last week, right?
Yeah, I was there last week.
Where'd you guys stay?
Yeah. Huh?
Were you guys staying at Mandalay?
MGM.
Oh, you're at MGM. Okay.
Yeah.
How's the pool there?
What's that?
How's the pool there?
Probably the second best pool in Vegas. It's got a couple pools. It's got a lazy river. You can float in your floaty. You can have your drink, whether it's water, juice, beer, whatever. Float around. When it's so hot out there, those pools are. It's amazing. I could stay there for weeks on end. But getting into the fight, this is going to be a good fight. Vergil Ortiz, 21 fights, 21 knockouts. Sergey Bohachuck, I think he's 23-1 with about 21 knockouts, 20 knockouts. These guys are knockout artists.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a great fight. It's very underrated. It's on the zone. It's free. People should definitely watch this fight. I got to go. Slight edge of Vergil Ortiz, but this is very close so he's only a 2-1 favorite. So the Sharks have it very close.
I think this is going to be a boxing purist type of fight to watch. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to appreciate the art form and the skill set that's going to be involved in this fight. Taking off of what you just said, because they're both knockout artists.
Oh yeah.
They're going to try to go for big shots, but it's going to be a chess match, fans. This is not going to be
over 40 knockouts combined between the two of these guys.
Well, this is what I'm saying, right? And you know what? It's like I said before, you go to Madrov, for example. He's always been the Crawford-esque type of guy in all his fights, right? Until he met Crawford. But you got these two guys coming in, and they're basically, I'm not saying they're identical to one another, but their styles mesh really, really well. This is going to be a chess match, man. This is
I know. Yeah, I got a feeling though. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. This is like a close fight.
Someone's going to wait for an opening. Someone has to take a risk and wait for an opening. Someone might have to take a shot to get a shot, or take a couple to get a shot to get in there. This is the way I'm seeing it. But this is, I mean, it's an exciting fight, but for different reasons. It's not going to be It's not going to be Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. Let's meet in the center of the ring and just slug it out. You know what I mean? That's not going to happen here. I think it's going to be a chess match. It's going to be very calculated. The sweet science at its finest.
In saying that, I still think somebody's going to go down here because both these guys, all they know is knockout.
Yeah.
And I know Ortiz wants to keep it 22-0
Yeah.
with 22 knockouts. That is impressive just to even say that.
Yeah.
Bohachuck is no joke either. He's a legit contender. He might win. I got this fight like 60-40. I got Vergil Ortiz round 9 stoppage ref TKO by the refs. Let's find out.
I get it, man. And I see that as well. I can see that happening, but it's going to happen in an instant, right? So if you're watching this fight and it's getting into the 6th or 7th or 8th round and you decide to go to the can, don't, because that's where it's probably going to happen, in my opinion. Either way, I can't pick a winner.
A relatively unknown fight, but could potentially be a great fight. We'll see.
Well, we'll see. But like I said, I mean, it's not going to be the faint for heart, right? I mean, if you're looking for like rock'em sock'em robot action, you're not going to get it here, regardless of how much power these guys have. And they'd be best, in my opinion, to be aware of that. I'm sure they are, right? So one guy's going to make a slight mistake, one guy's going to move out of position, and that's where it's going to end. And it's going to be something so minor that the other guy does that's going to give the other guy the opening he needs. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, well, I say with 2 knockout artists, though, somebody's going down here. And I got Bohachuck going down round 9. Let's see what happens. Ref steps in, stops it. Let's find out.
There we go, brother. All right, we got 5 rounds in the bag. I don't know if I want to make this a round, but let's just talk about shit that's going on generally very quickly here. I wanted to touch on Lomo and Shakur. The reason I want to touch on this is because I like them both so much as athletes and as boxers. It's hard for me to take it. Well, I mean, I don't think it's hard, but Shakur is not making it easier for me to defend him on this one. And I'm referring to the incident of them, jawing back and forth in the crowd. Now, Lomo should have taken the fight, not taken a break. I mean, that's
totally agree.
I will say that one thing, right? If you're going to do it that way, then you shouldn't be jawing at the event, right? The fight was there in front of you. You didn't want to take it. You want to take a year off. I get that, but then you got to stay quiet. Now, Shakur.
Well, but Shakur started melting him off, though.
No, I get that, right? But this is where I'm saying the other piece here. Shakur, on the other hand, looked like a kid. Like, he already looks like a kid, right? I mean, those dimples, right? I mean, he's so young and everything. I get it, but I mean, it takes away from him. Like, okay, why are you drawing with this guy?
Because you have it this way. Lomo is class personified.
Exactly.
Shakur has no class. And why do I say that? Look what he did. He's mouthing off a guy who's sitting there being quiet. The Ukrainian guys aren't mouthy, cocky guys like the North American guys. They're watching the fight. That's all Lomo was doing. You start mouthing him off, calling him names. Well, I don't know what you were saying. Call him chicken. You're scared fighting. You know what I mean? You don't pop off like that. Lomo and Usyk aren't like that. They're the nicest guys in the world. Shakur had no class that night.
And, no, he didn't. And
different levels of class. And you know what? Lomo will beat him when they fight.
But it sucks that Lomo got dragged into that style, right? Because that's not his style. That's not.
But when you're around those kind of guys, this is what they do.
No. I get it. That's what I'm saying. It sucks that he got dragged into it because now we live in a day and age where you can cut this video up. And trust me, I know this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could take that footage and cut it up in such a way where I can make it look like Lomo's such an asshole. Yep. Right. And that's what people see. I mean, let's just look at that transgender stuff that's going on in the Olympics. Since we've talked about it, I've looked into it more. Okay. Now, these girls were born with these chromosomes. It wasn't that they chose to identify one way or the other. Both of them were actually legitimately born with them, but raised as girls. Right. And
they can be raised as girls and they may be born that way, but they're not women though, because they got the male.
I get it, but I hear what you're saying, but a lot of us, a lot of people are being criticized for not having all the facts, right? Like even Joe Rogan, took like the Logan Paul approach. Joe Rogan took that approach. A lot of people took that approach.
But they're right though. They're not saying that she transitioned. They're saying you have an extra chromosome, you're a male.
Okay,
it's not fair to fight.
Right, but they were born that way, right? I get it.
So that's fine. You can be born that way, but it doesn't change the fact that you still have the male chromosome, making you an unfair advantage. Exactly. Somebody's born with autism. I got it when you're 13, but you're still autistic.
I get it. Well, what I'm saying is criticize them based that way, opposed to the way they're being criticized. I'm not disagreeing with the criticisms. Don't get me wrong. I'm on board with you. If you're born that way, yes, I get it.
Yeah, nobody's knocking for how they're born. They shouldn't be fighting women though. That's what they're
Right.
saying.
100%. All I'm saying is just like I think we need to educate ourselves more. This is a prime example of it. Like, I mean, there's so many different narratives out there. There's so many things, and people are just chopping it up in different ways to make their opinion sound
No,
right.
but that nobody's saying they transition to 10. Everybody knows they're born this way. Well, what they're saying is
No,
with
no,
an
no, no.
extra chromosome, you are a male. You have
No, no.
it's unfair to fight the
They
females. Even
they
though you're
now.
technically saying you're born a woman with
Yes,
a vagina.
yes, they know now, but the initial criticisms were more extreme.
Yeah, they're saying a man being a woman, but technically
Yeah.
they are. By the chromosome, maybe not by the parts. That's the thing.
Right, right. I'm not defending these two girls. All I'm saying is like, just I feel bad for them because they were born this way. It's not like they were girls and
No,
decided,
exactly. No, it's
right?
nobody saying it's their fault. However, you shouldn't be fighting in there.
Well, you
Period.
know what
It's
though?
like putting an autistic guy. It's like me putting Brian in the boxing ring. Well, he's a man, but yeah, he's got a brain damage. He can't be fighting. The same thing, right? It's not his fault.
Some things are clearer than others. I get that completely. All I'm saying is just like, I feel bad for them in that sense, like, just being ripped the way they are. They're going to fight wherever they can, right? I mean, so we have to look at the IOC. We have to look at boxing in general. We look at
The whole this whole Olympics has been a complete joke as far as the woke stuff and all that crap. It's too bad because 90% of the athletes are just doing their sport and they're they represent their country. Then you throw in the whole religions thing they try to do, and they're doing this stuff. This Olympic is marred with controversy, which shouldn't be because it's about the kids in the games. But they took that away to IOC, trying to play politics. Shouldn't have left it out of there.
Yeah, I don't understand about all that woke stuff, especially France, which is a very, Christian based country. I mean, it's the biggest religion there. I mean, for them to mock their own religion, it just blows my
Because
mind.
it's all the young people that are taking over these positions. They're trying to be hip and cool because that's what they think the liberal media wants. They want to mock Christianity. They want all the woke stuff. They want to shove it down your throats.
Like, in what world does a
Simple.
bearded woman come off attractive?
But that's the thing, though. It doesn't. But in their minds, they're not trying to get to guys our age. They're trying to get to our kids' age.
No. It just blows my mind.
Normalize it.
Like, it just blows my mind. Like, I look at a woman with a beard, and I want to throw up.
Well, 95% of people do, but they want to get to the kids, not to us. They want to get to the kids watching Olympics. Wait a minute, that's normal.
I
We can
get
do
that.
that.
I get what you're saying. I'm just trying to share with you. Like, I don't see it. Like, I don't get it. It makes no sense to me. Like, I see a bearded woman.
Insane.
Like, come on. Like, how is that supposed to be attractive? Like, it's gross.
It's insane, dude. You can't even make sense of these people because they have no sense.
One time I was at the temple, I saw an old BB with a beard. I put my tray away. I couldn't eat.
Yeah.
Like, clean that shit up.
You think so? I know. It's crazy.
I don't care if anyone's gonna get mad at me. Like, I've had enough of this stuff. Like, I mean, I think it's time, like,
they need to leave the kids alone. That's my main thing is stop pushing this down the kids' throat.
No, exactly. I mean, they're impressionable, but I think we're getting to a point now where with this generation of alpha, I think it's going to be better because I think we lost the millennials and the Generation Z people. They're fucking gone. They're a waste of time and space as far as I'm concerned, right? I mean, but I think we have a chance with the Alpha generation because we're raising them.
Let's hope so.
Right. That's all I'm going to say.
So we're going to find out in about 10 years which way they go. I don't know which way these guys our kids' age is going to go. We'll find out in 10 years.
I'm almost afraid to retire because I don't think there's going to be anything left for us.
That could be possible too. It could be very possible.
All right, brother man. Anything on this day in boxing history, Canadian boxing, or anything in Canadian history?
Nothing in Canadian history worth noting. But this week in boxing history, I do have a good one. 1974, so 54 years ago, George Foreman knocked out Canada's own George Savallo in the third round in Madison Square Garden.
50 years ago.
Huh? 54, 1970.
You said 1974.
No, 1970, 54 years ago.
Okay, initially you said 1974, brother. Sorry.
No, 1970, 54 years ago.
Okay. That makes sense.
So George Savallo said getting hit by George Foreman, famous quote is like getting hit by a Mack truck. 54 years ago, Foreman puts down Canada's best heavyweight boxer ever, third round. Good night, Madison Square Garden.
Foreman's still hitting that bag hard, man. Have you seen any of those videos of him recently?
Yeah,
I don't think he could do anything in the ring, but I mean, he still
knock out most dudes with that shot. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Crazy. All right, guys and gals, Vergil Ortiz, Bohachuck this weekend. A battle of knockout artists. That's something to look forward to. Otherwise, they're fights all weekend long, but this is the main one. We got that covered. What a great weekend we've had of boxing, man. I can't wait for the fall. I think we're kind of in that lullaby where we're just kind of waiting for the
Yeah.
next one. I think something's coming up on the 13th, I believe. I'm not sure. I'll confirm that. But I mean, for the most part, it's been good. The summer's been good. I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you and everybody. The weekend is here. I mean, I hope the weekend weather stays good. It's good for everybody. So if you're going to go out and have fun as we're starting to get close to the end of the summer, you guys want to amp up your game, get an extra couple of drinks in there, a couple extra puffs if that's your game. Do it up right. Have fun. But just remember, make sure you get home safe. And not just for yourself, but for the other people on the road that are trying to be safe and for your family. And most importantly, for us. So you guys come back and join us on the Tuesday and Thursday next week. Also, anyone who shits on you, who doesn't believe in you, let them go. You don't need them. You just don't need them. Do the things that will change your life. Don't bother doing things that justify your life. And don't look for people's appreciation if they don't appreciate you. Samp and Chance are out.